Hey everybody, we're the Good Doctors of Abbey Research. I'm Dr. Kristen.
And I'm Dr. Erin.
We are exceptionally excited that you have joined us on our YouTube channel today. We're two social scientists who use culture to talk about how we can all human better. We've talked about everything from why flags matter to people, to what we can learn from Academy Award-winning films, to what we can learn from The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, to essentially just shooting the shit, as they say, back and forth together to help us all figure out how to be deeper, fuller, richer humans. We love talking to each other. Obviously, we'll show you the receipts if you want them, but we really love it when you talk to us back and we can enter into a richer and fuller conversation. So please do the YouTube-y thing, subscribe, ring the bell, comment below, the whole nine, and enter into this conversation with us. We cannot wait.
This conversation is part of our ongoing series, started this year in 2021, the Colonizers World Tour, where we are spinning the globe and taking a look at the relationship between colonizers and the colonized, and the people and places and cultures and societies that are always shaped by those ongoing relationships, lest you think colonization is something that happened in the past. Lol, JK. We are at the end of our chapter in French colonies, and we are talking about Vietnam, which is heavy for a lot of reasons, being Americans, being the time of in the world history when these videos are airing right after the fall of Kabul and Afghanistan to the Taliban again. So lots of emotions, lots of things happening. If you watched our 101 video, you know we have thoughts and feelings, capital T, capital F. But today we are discussing the film Song Lang, perhaps one of the most beautiful films I've ever seen, but certainly in a long time. It's a 2020 film, directorial debut for the Vietnamese director Leon Lee. Again, we're terrible with Vietnamese, so just don't expect accurate pronunciations. You can watch this by renting it for $3 on Prime Video. And please do. This is going to be a real gushy review of what was a achingly beautifully told and filmed movie. It is simple and complex. It is everything we love about engaging in a piece of art from a place that we've studied, when we can focus so much on the history of Vietnam and the Vietnam War and the relationship with America and what it's like in communist Vietnam now. But to have this film that just gives you a slice of humanity, breaks your heart, pulls you into this romance. Boy, we're so thankful we had the opportunity to engage with it. Dr. Kristen, what would you like to say? I didn't give you any of the plot summary, so we can do that if you want. But
I was about to say, let me do the 60-second plot description for everybody who hasn't seen it yet.
I literally just finished watching this morning. I might cry while I'm talking about it, but I went a little gushy and forgot to do the description. So take it away.
It's okay. So Dung is essentially a debt collector.
Debt collector for his loan shark Auntie Ning.
And is very affect neutral for the first half of the movie. He is very violent in his means of getting the debt repayment, that as we meet him in the beginning. About halfway through, about a third of the way through the movie, he meets a traditional Vietnamese opera performer named Ling, who is played by, we are told, Isaac, who is the Harry Styles of Vietnam. So that's really exciting. Mm-hmm. And it is his first film performance, which I was like, Harry Styles was Dunkirk. So like,
I know, but like hitting it out of the park for both of them.
Both of them immediately. Really, really good stuff. And there is, it's a romance. They never really touch. They don't kiss. There's no homophobia, which sets it in this, like, they just get to know each other over this really long night conversation about what their families were and what the expectations of their lives are. And so And there's a lot of baggage with Dung and this particular art form, and that his mom was a performer, and kind of what this all looked like. And then, unfortunately, this is a little bit of a Romeo and Juliet story, because some of Dung's past choices come back to bite him, as it were. And in the closing moments of the movie, he is murdered by somebody that he collected the debt from, directly outside the opera performance that he had promised Ling he would be at. In one of the most, I was like, what are we doing?
He left his auntie's business and was gonna audition to be a musical performer, and he had his Vietnamese instrument with him. I don't know what it's called, but
that looks like a lute, but we don't know its traditional name.
A song lang, I think. Wasn't the song? I don't know if the
song lang is the metronome timey thingy, and it means two men. Yeah. And they open it up by telling us that it is the thing that keeps everybody on rhythm.
Yeah.
But it's not just a tool. Like in the West, we consider a metronome like literally just a tool that keeps the beat, but they consider it what ties them to the spirit, to the god of theater. Ooh. To the god of storytelling.
Oh, I love that.
And it is what guides them to tell the story better. Which, as somebody who was a slave to a metronome for many years, a metronome does not do that. It does not guide us.
Not in the West.
It does not guide us to anything but slow insanity with the tick, 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 tick.
Yeah. So,
this is, all of you know that I don't love slow movies. I'm famous
for it.
Loved this film.
Yeah, and it's a slow burn, but it's not.
Slow as much as it was achingly paced.
Like meditative.
Yeah, it was very meditative.
But not in a way that was pretentious.
No, it was the least pretentious thing I've ever seen.
Because I would watch a lot more slow or middle distance stuff than Kristen would. But I even get annoyed at like, you're just doing that to show the artsy shot. And like,
it's like, I was like Finding Neverland, like how many drone shots do we need of Southern California? Like you're
right.
Fine. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I get it. You got a drone. Fine.
Yeah. Congratulations. Yeah.
Congratulations on your drone purchase. Tell me a story. But like, and I'll have to think about why this was different and why this felt different. Cause I was sitting there watching it and you get so engrossed in this film. And then I was like, why does this feel different? Like, why does this shot of Doug's apartment with the light coming through it not like, so it's, I think it's kind of the core of how the story is told and the way that it's approached and the way that the actors hold the space and that all of that combined so that when you get shots that seem like artsy, if you will, it doesn't feel that way. But yeah, I love
this is the 1980s in Saigon. So this is definitely not a decade of Vietnamese history I've ever thought about or considered. And certainly not one I was ever taught in school. As far as, America is concerned, Vietnam ended with the fall of Saigon. Until fast forward 20 years, and then all of a sudden we could start going for tourism. Yeah. But there is a incredible review of a Vietnamese refugee, a child of a Vietnamese. I'm not entirely sure of the relationship of the writer, but the director of this film is a Vietnamese American who goes back to Vietnam to film this movie. And I do think that relationship is key to the storytelling. Yeah. And this review that we link to below in the Living Vietnam resource document kind of explores that as well, that the lens of the insider-outsider is what is needed to tell Dung's story, who is an insider-outsider in Ling's world. And it's so perfect.
Oh my God, y'all. Literally, like actively sobbing at the end of this film for a lot of reasons. But yeah, it's the arc of Dung's story and his decision to choose a different life was so wonderful, and like the complexity of his past that shaped the decisions that he made and the way that he like disconnected from the world because of his childhood trauma. Like I think I've run out of words now, but it's so beautiful. It's so rooted in like humanness
This is one of those myopic yet universal stories. Like, obviously, I've never been an opera singer in 1980s Saigon. Don't know about yourselves, but this felt very like I've lived this story. I've also like stayed up all night talking to somebody. And my soul, it's like that Richard Linklater series Before Sunset with Julie Delpy and Ethan Hawke. Very similar to that, where like my soul has connected with you in a vulnerable way that I've never given anybody else.
Yeah.
And kind of what that feels like and means. It's so specific in its universality. It's beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's a great place to end. Please give this movie some love. If you get the opportunity to see it. That's all I've got. just watch it. You won't regret it.
You won't. It's like an hour and 40 minutes. It's a good, well edited, tight story. There's no wasted time. It's quite good.
Yeah.
There are other Vietnamese movies I promise that we'll be watching in the future. We debated between this one and one called Monsoon that stars Crazy Rich Asians' Henry Golding. And so I don't be surprised if we end up watching that one as well, and talking about it here on the channel, because that's a contemporary Vietnam movie, in terms of like set in contemporary times.
Yeah.
So it would be fascinating to do that as well. But in the meantime, that's a wrap for us for now on French colonies. We're heading to Spanish ones next.
Oh boy.
So many thoughts and feelings on the Spanish colonies, and I can't remember which one we're hitting first. So if you guys will give me 2 seconds, we are going to Cuba.
I was about to say, I believe we're going to Cuba first. Yeah.
We're heading to Cuba first, which
we're going to be in the Caribbean, we're going to be in Central America, and we're going to be in Africa in a tiny place called Equatorial Guinea. So should be really interesting. Excited to learn more. And
I want you all to know that even though we were tempted to do Dirty Dancing Havana Nights for the Cuba movie, we have chosen not to.
We found something else.
We found something else. So you'll find out what that is next week. Bye, everybody.
Bye.